the UAW is considering our request to support our position on the income tax. That's the things that I know of.
The next question is directed towards Mayor Schreiber. What are we doing to bring large employers in to replace those we have lost and continue to lose? Sorry, it says, what are we doing to bring large employers into Ypsilanti to replace those we have lost and continue to lose?
Well, Ypsilanti is an industrial town. We've lost heavy industry. We are trying to make our town as attractive as possible. We have a lot of things going on downtown. We have the Crossroads Festival. We have things that people want to move in and take advantage of. And I think if you have people moving in, then you will have businesses moving in. As far as heavy industry goes, I work at Ypsilanti, and I have seen movement overseas. I think there's only so much you can do in a city. You have to have it well run, and which is what we have. We have an excellent city manager. As I said, Fresno's just done a fine job. And you have to have an attractive community. We have that at EMU, which is an attractive university. We're close to Ann Arbor. We're close to Detroit. We're near I-94. We're between I-275 and US 23. So you have transportation. You can get anywhere you want to easily. We're close to Metro Detroit Airport. So I think we have a lot of things geographically going for us. Unfortunately, the state economy is going against us. But I think when the economy turns around, I think Ypsilanti is going to be an affordable community that businesses are going to want to move to.
This question is for Residents Hall Association President Allie Shepard. Will the income tax cause a shift in the housing occupancy rate?
That's a good question. I don't know if it would necessarily cause a shift in the rate, but it would definitely, I think, cause people to not register to vote, because it doesn't hurt people unless they register to vote or not. So, and it could possibly hurt them if they decide to work on campus, because then they would have the 0.5% deduction out of their paychecks, and as opposed to working in Ann Arbor or another community close by, then they wouldn't have to pay the tax. But I don't know if it would necessarily hurt the on-campus residency rate.
This question is for any of the panelists who'd like to answer. If the state is still in dire straits, what will happen in 2014 when the tax expires?
The tax expires in 2014. Right now, the current projections are that by 2012, if the income tax is implemented, that the things stay as they are, that we'll have to start making cuts. I think, though, that will give us some time to be able to extend that out. I wish I could look ahead to the future 24 hours, let alone into 2014. I have no idea what the state's going to do. I don't know if we're going to be shutting down. If we shut down, we could end up not doing street maintenance because we won't have matching funds from the state. So I have a hard time just looking ahead to the next 24 hours of 2014, but I do know that I believe that at this particular time, I think the income tax is a better option for our community.
Just on a side note to talking about government shutting down, just to make this aware to anybody in the EMU community, if the government shuts down and the state shut down for 2 weeks, the university will lose a payment from the state, and that will be another cut of over $7 million to the university that the university will have to take out of its budget. So just putting that out there, a lot of people don't realize that if the state government shuts down because we don't pass a budget, come 11:59 on Sunday, and we are shut down for 2 weeks, the university will lose a payment from the state, and that may or may not be made up when the state passes its budget. Just FYI.
Just on the state shutting down. We were in Lansing yesterday, and we were speaking with some legislators, and there was a continuation budget that went through the Senate. It's been sent to the House, and I'm not necessarily sure. They said that hopefully that can pass or something. I'd like to hope that it doesn't finally shut down, but that's just from what we've heard from some of the legislators yesterday.
Just so everyone understands that if the state shuts down, the city's affected as well. We have a $600,000 state shared payment that we received from the state, expected this sometime this month. We have ongoing payments for road maintenance. I was told today by our Director of Public Works that if the state budget isn't passed, we will no longer provide routine maintenance on the state trunk lines, which we're reimbursed for from the state for providing that service. So streets such as Huron, Hamilton, Washtenaw, Cross that are controlled under the auspices of the state would receive no maintenance. And if there were, say, a sewer cave-in, we would barricade it off, contact the state, wait for permission from them to fix it, and do so after receiving permission. So it's important to understand that the state's delay of adopting a budget also has dire consequences for the city as well.
What sort of comprehensive assessment has been made to determine what levels of service are effective? Specifically, do we know how many people it takes to maintain the current levels of service? And who exactly determines what is an essential service? Directed towards probably the city manager president.
When we began cutting the budget a number of years ago, I proposed to City Council that we prioritize our services, and those were directed towards police, fire, streets, and then the priority ranking went from there. Unfortunately, such services as recreation were determined to be a non-priority. Although that's an important service, we did not continue to fund it, so we've not had a recreation department since 2002. In terms of determining staffing levels, we've cut, as the mayor has previously mentioned, we've cut staffing in City Hall, we've cut staffing in the police department, we have not cut staffing in the fire department. So we continue to provide services as best we can with ever-shrinking staffing.
Question is for Greg Jones, student body president. What is the likelihood of recent graduates or alumni of EMU staying in Ypsilanti post-graduation if the income tax passes?
I guess I don't know. I can't necessarily project that, but I would again have to imagine that it would be a deterrent to residing in Ypsilanti. But again, there's time on both sides. This is obviously going to affect Eastern Michigan University. It's going to affect Ypsilanti. It's going to affect students and alumni and faculty. The thing is the state issue. The state has sort of neglected to fund universities and resulted in higher costs for higher education, the 9.5 tuition increase just this year. So as costs go up, it does become difficult for people to remain in the location that they're at, and that goes across the state. Here we see people leaving Ypsilanti, and we see people leaving the state of Michigan.
Okay, this question is directed at City Manager Frisno and or Mayor Schreiber. How many students are budgeted in for this tax? Yeah, no problem. How many students are budgeted in for this tax in terms of the revenue?
We have no specific number budgeted for students. The study that was performed by Plant Moran for the city regarding the income tax selected macro numbers, so there weren't specific student numbers